Even if I say it myself, we've had some cracking music on the show this afternoon. Belting. That's called Snake Oil. Steve Earle, if you're ever in a quiz, right?
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
So, where can you take your gal this week, I hear you ask?
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. 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 I'm going downtown tonight. What's going on?
Yes, Andy, that is exactly what we want to know. Where can we take our girl tonight? Well, there you go. Coming to the Rhyl Pavillion next Wednesday, that's Wednesday the 12th of June, is the fantastic Les Musicals. And this is a celebration of musicals from around the world, from Les Miserables to We Will Rock You. It stars two guys we will be well aware of. With Jonathan Ansell, frontman of G4. Remember G4, runners-up in the first and the original X Factor back in 2004? And he is joined this year by the winner of the 2011 Britain's Got Talent winner, Jai McDowall. What a combination. What a combination of talent that is. Anyway, they are currently touring the country as we speak, and yesterday I caught up with Jonathan and Jai in their dressing room in Dundee as they prepared for their show last night. So here we go then, sit back, enjoy on the Stage and Screen show, Cal on FM, Jonathan Ansell and Jai McDowall.
Hello, how are you?
Hello Jonathan, how's things?
I'm good, thank you, Andy. Nice to speak to you.
And you, mate. Thanks ever so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I've been looking at your tour list, actually. I can see you're quite busy.
It's pretty hectic, yeah. It's all a bit mad.
Yeah.
The shows are keeping us out of trouble.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to start off with a confession, actually, because I didn't know Jai was going to be listening in, but I hope this doesn't sound too bad. But in our house back in 2004, we were big fans of G4, man. I've got to tell you.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that support. You know, it's got us to where we are. And the amazing thing is, it was that long ago, isn't it? Frightening. 2004, the first series of the X Factor, and the fact that people are still remembering the brand and what we did back then, and it just scares me when I look in the mirror now. I have to put a little bit more makeup on every night. I don't want to scare the audience.
Is that how it's got, is it?
Exactly, yeah. So we've got 5 flight cases of suits, and then one of those is makeup now. So it's,
Right.
it's going. It's all just for Jonathan.
Well, Jai, I was looking at your thing as well, and that's 2011. I can't believe that you won Britain's Got Talent back then.
Yeah, to be fair, it's just as long. Well, not just as long, to be fair. But, yeah, it doesn't seem like 8 years ago, if I'm being honest.
It's incredible, actually.
It's mad. It's good. As Jonathan says, it's nice to still be doing what we do this long after the show, and it's a great platform to have been part of, and it's just brilliant to now be on the road doing this 8 years on.
Yeah. I was wondering, do you still keep up to date with what's going on those sort of things, or do you just sort of leave it behind now?
No, normally when I'm at home and stuff, I try to keep up with who's sort of in the final. With doing this though, we've been kind of busy every Saturday and kind of weekend times this time round. So I've caught up with a few. Like I know who won, and I know the magician. Is it X was second? And
yeah.
Things like that. So I've kind of seen some of the final, but not all of it.
Yeah, and Jonathan, I mean, at the time for you, back in 2004, you were on the first series of the X Factor, and I mean, there was nothing like it at the time, so you were kind of going in blind, really.
No one was really sure, what to expect. I mean, we'd had Pop Idol, Fame Academy, and I think Pop Stars The Rivals was just ahead of it as well. But the X Factor format itself was brand new. That whole idea of finding talent in that way and every week being on a live performance stage was very, very new. And the thing that makes it really different nowadays is the advent of social media hadn't existed. So we didn't have anything. I think there was like MySpace music that existed, and that was as close as you got to connecting with artists. So to not have that immediate connection, which nowadays is just so present and so vital in your interaction with audiences, made it very different as well, but made it really, I think made it feel really real, because you were genuinely just in a talent search and on a TV show, not just part of public psyche, everyone interacting with you personally. You were on that ride on your own, and delighted it became second, and it worked out well for us.
Yeah. Does Jai ever tease you because he won?
Indeed.
I think you bring it up more than I do.
I'm just jealous. You know, I wanted that confetti cannon, and I was weeping my eyes out. Steve Brookstein was there, the confetti cannons, everyone on their feet, and the winner's Steve Brookstein. And I genuinely was just crying my eyes out like a little baby.
Yeah.
Like, so, do you know what? You've been in that show, and you've been on this roller coaster ride of emotions. You've been performing, giving your all week after week, and of course you want to win. You never expect you're going to win at the early auditions. You never think you'll get to the final, but then you get to the judge's house, you get to the finals, and you have winning in your sight by the time you get to the semi-final, and of course you want it. And I'm deeply frustrated that Jai won and we only came second.
And also as well, there was nothing quite like your act at the time. I mean, classical pop bands have become like two a penny these days. There's Calabro and Opera Boys I can think of, but at the time you were sort of front runners, really.
We were quite niche, and I think at the time it was a good and a bad thing for us. I think we were concerned that people just wouldn't understand it, and it was quite unique in that no one would really see where it would sit in the market and in the music shelves of the HMVs and all of that. You just weren't quite sure. But the wonderful thing was that people did embrace it, did get behind it, and that now there are so many offshoots of similar groups since. I mean, Il Divo were formed immediately around the time that we were on the X Factor as well, and amusingly I auditioned for what became Il Divo, so there was a bizarre audition in front of Simon Cowell for me only a few months before X Factor, and then all of a sudden, as you say, there's Blake and the Opera Boys and all sorts of other wonderful groups that are out there still performing that kind of music, and people are loving it, and they're still loving it, and it's growing and growing, and the opportunity just to entertain people and not being bound by genres and just going, look, we're going to sing you a bit of Queen, a bit of opera, a bit of operetta, and we're all going to have a great time together, just really works, and I'm delighted that it does, and it's a wonderful thing. We're still out touring with G4 and doing wonderful things with that even now, and it's so heartwarming that brand and the support's still there.
The choices for you for which songs to sing they were endless, really, weren't they? There was no the problem for you guys was what to leave out, I suppose.
Yes, and at first we were thinking we'd be bound by certain kind of genres we couldn't touch, but then things like Radiohead's Creep became really synonymous with us, and our unique take on that it was an idea of Louis Walsh, bless him, he came up with that one. We can't take the credit for that, and we put our unique stamp, and it became really powerful and new. And I guess "Hit Me Baby One More Time," the Britney Spears song he recommended, was slightly different, but I didn't have quite the same grab. But it was also fun to take old school pop and put a kind of operatic crossover twist to it as well with the harmonies. So do you know what, the fun thing for us is that song choices are literally endless for G4, and the one thing we haven't fully approached is rap, but I genuinely think one day there is the opportunity for us to give that a go and put our G4 stamp on some Eminem classic, and I'll run forward and give it a go. Jai's just cringing at the thought. I quite like the idea. I got a bit of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in a show once. It was a little corner of the tour. And we just had this silly moment, and I sung the whole thing, and the audience went wild as I did it. So I think there's an opening for G4 to do a bit more of that. Yeah.
And Jai, is it the same for you when you go out doing a solo gig? Do you pretty much sing what you like, how you like it, or do you have to stick to what you're known for?
No. I mean, I sing some Tupac. I do a lot of rap. I do. I'm pretty much the same. I'm pretty lucky that I can sing almost anything, really, and before Britain's Got Talent, I used to gig a lot on a kind of local scene, and so I do a lot of pop, I do a lot of ballady stuff, but I can also do sort of more contemporary rock things as well, so it's loads of different styles, and I prefer it that way because I don't want to be bound by any genre either. I do like having the freedom to pick and choose what I can sing and what I don't want to, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I was going to say as well, because my I went to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama as well, Jonathan.
Ah, amazing. When was that?
Well,
I'm going to miss each other.
Just about. I left in 94.
Ah, amazing.
Yeah, when did you leave?
What did you study?
Drama. I did the acting course.
Oh, but do you know how annoying it was, how separate the drama and music departments were? It was so silly because there's such a wealth of teachers and stuff on both sides, and I always felt it was a real sad reality that you were kind of segregated in different corridors and never really crossed paths, and the only time you really met the drama department was down the pub on the road outside. It's an amazing place to train. Awesome.
Yeah.
Realised that before. Good.
Yeah. Was your course 3 years? Was it?
We did the 4-year undergrad course.
Right. Okay.
That one. So yeah, we were in there for 4, and then I was bound to do another 2-year on the opera course actually following on. But a lot of people in singing then do postgrad, then opera. And they could even be up to 8 years. It's insane how long you have to train now to do a lot of that stuff. It's mad.
Yeah.
3 years was it for drama?
3 years, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But my son's doing. He's a singer. He's at the Royal Northern in Manchester.
Oh yeah.
And he's actually formed what would you call it? A group, I suppose. They call themselves Project 6.
Ah, cool.
And but I actually said they should do like you guys and sort of make it contemporary and try getting in that way, because it's all becoming more and more popular, isn't it?
Mixing it up as well, having the ability to be able to do a totally straight performance with an orchestra and do a traditional recital of Schubert or Schumann, Dichterliebe, and then all of a sudden you're performing Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi, rocking it out with a crowd as well, and having the ability to kind of go between the two is really important as well. But I nearly went to the Royal Northern. I loved it. Do you know the reason I loved it so much is in the halls of residence that they showed me around, they had a snooker table.
Oh, right.
And I ended up being almost swayed in the halls of residence, and I kind of didn't worry about the facilities were obviously amazing as well, but that was nearly the clincher for me.
Yeah. Well, when I went round the Guildhall, all I could, my mum saying, "What was it like?" And I said, "It's got a lake outside."
Exactly.
It's funny what you remember.
Silly things, yeah.
So now you're back on the road, the pair of you, doing Les Musicals. What's going on with this then?
So it's an amazing mix. We've got the big hits from the West End and Broadway. We're putting them together with both of our uniquely different voices, creating the harmonies and singing all of the big tunes back to back, night after night. We're on a 60-day tour this year with it, and it's just a real thrill to have packed houses everywhere we're going, and amazing reactions, everyone leaping on their feet, and just a great fun time. There's the ballads, there's the emotion, but there's also the silliness, and a big one for me, Annie Get Your Gun.
Yeah.
Anything you can do, I can do better. But we're not playing the characters from the show, we are playing John and Jai, and genuinely trying to see who can sing the highest note, who can sing the longest note.
Brilliant.
And it almost turns into a fight in the middle. Jai even rips his jacket off and gets a little bit aggressive, brings a bit of a Scottish aggression out, and thankfully no fisticuffs have occurred so far in the song.
Might even after that comment. So we might just find some violence tonight in my hometown.
Well, because Jai, you would have been well aware of Jonathan and G4 when you before you joined this tour.
We've worked together a few times, so we've known each other for a while, and it was just a no-brainer, obviously. I mean, I didn't know it was 60 dates at the time. I thought it was only agreeing to 2 or 3. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been an absolute fun time, and we're more than halfway through now, and nobody's fallen out.
Yeah.
And it's been brilliant, touring around the country and just getting audiences on their feet every night, and just to get to do what we enjoy doing.
And I mean, you're both awesome singers, so you must complement each other perfectly, really.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a Leo Owen.
The fun. Do you know the thing I love on this show is that we pass lines between us. So look, we're on a lot of shows through the year, and we're very tired. And vocally, there's certain times in certain shows where all of a sudden it will hit us. And what's brilliant is we can genuinely just look at each other and pass something back and forward. So the other week I was feeling a bit under the weather, and Jai took on some of the wonderful lines, and because he's got that high register as well as me, although it's a different tone, he catches that line for me, he covers that, and then I'll place a harmony on it, and vice versa. And it's just a lovely kind of organic transition in songs in real time with the audience there. We'll just literally move it around, and we've both got each other's back with that, which I really like.
Just the two of you?
Yeah, so there's two of us singing, so we hold the stage the whole time. It was a difficult decision when we were putting the show together, whether we got some female singers with us, a big dance troupe, or local choirs and all of that. But one thing we found is that when there's the two of us holding the audience all the way through, it just really creates a dynamic energy that just stays fully engaged. There's no kind of lull, there's no little dip, there's no drop whatsoever. You're just literally there, and the audience just seem to really be receiving that so well. I mean, with the likes of Ball and Bow, the big tours that they do in the albums, there seems to be a real appetite for that kind of male duo on stage, being silly, having a bit of fun, but also taking people on an emotional musical journey. We've got musicians there on stage with us as well. We've got fabulous drummer John Clark and Rich Jones on keys, and we're just having a blast. The big thing actually on this tour is we've really upped the ante with the lighting. Bart is just doing an amazing job. HPSS, we've got them on board again, and they are just having so much fun with all the toys on stage. We've got a huge lighting rig flown and on the floor, and drapes and dry ice, and he's absolutely going to town, and he's having a really good time with that as well. So it's a light show as well as a vocal extravaganza. I mean, I was
having a look at the footage on YouTube, and it's pretty full on, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a heavy going show for us vocally and physically, but it's so rewarding, and say night after night sharing the show with people and them having a great time with us is amazing. And there's a real energy about the tour because it is running consecutively through these first 2 months. It's not we're just out at the weekends and kind of come and find us. We're living on a tour bus, we're living and breathing this show, and there is certainly an energy that's growing around it, and audience numbers are growing as people kind of grab those last few tickets as we're on the road together, and can't wait to come. I think Ryl's the closest one to yourselves very soon next week. Yeah, brilliant. And again with this one, it's as like G4. I mean, your choices are endless, really, aren't they? For songs that you can sing from. Is it like pretty much across any genre of musical? Is there anything from like We Will Rock You or anything?
Yeah, there actually is. Yeah, we've got pretty much all of the big musicals in. We've got Les Mis, Phantom, We Will Rock You. I do stuff from Chess. John does stuff from Whistle Down the Wind. We've got Wicked in there.
Wicked?
Yeah. Sorry. Come on. Spit it out. It's fine. No, you've said it. It's fine. Just take it.
I think he's done. No, do you know what? There is a big mix, but we finished with the big We Will Rock You finale. And do you know the fun thing about that is we've also got these totally insane. I remember seeing Jai's face when I showed them to him. Gold sequin tailcoat.
Oh, yeah.
And they arrived, and I got so excited about them. I showed them to Jai, and he basically wept and just went, "Really? Do I have to do that?" Wearing them on stage, and he is loving it. We're like mirror balls bobbing around at the back of the stage. We leap forward, and yeah, it just totally works. It totally works. So yeah, thankfully he's happy he's wearing them now.
Fantastic. And as you say, it's a massive tour, and it's bringing you back to Rhyl. And I heard you say the other day actually that playing there last time you were in Rhyl, the audience was fantastic, wasn't it?
Indeed, they were just electric. It felt like going back to the X Factor days, and they were just absolutely on form. We love playing Rhyl. It's such a beautiful place to wake up there with the coast and the kind of miles and miles of sand, and it's so nice to. I just feel like a big kid whenever I get there. The only thing I've not done is built a sandcastle, but I play on the sand. We run around flying kites, just like trying to just be, I don't know, just relaxed and excited before the show, and it's always amazing for us, the reaction. So we cannot wait for that once again. I'm sure they won't let us down.
Excellent. Well, gents, it's been an absolute treat to speak to you both. Thanks ever so much for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Brilliant. And we'll see you in Rhyl on it's Wednesday night.
Look forward to it. See you then. Have a great day.
Cheers. Take care, lads.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So there you go, that is Jonathan Ansell and Jai McDowall bringing this show, Les Musicals. Les Musicals is coming to the Rhyl Pavillion. That's this Wednesday the 12th of June. Tickets still available. And for the super fans out there, there's the opportunity of a meet and greet. So, for more information, go to www.rylpavilion.co.uk. That is Les Musicals live concert tour. Or you can call the box office. That is just 01745 330000. 01745 330000. An absolute treat. What an absolute thrill I think it was for them to speak to me yesterday. Fantastic. Two lads who look like they're having a blasty blast on the road. That's Jonathan Ansell, Jai McDowall from Les Musicals, coming to the Rhyl Pavillion next week. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. You know they won't be there forever if you don't.